Jury members, take your seats. The evidence has been reviewed. The football jury has reached its verdict on the Champions League final between Arsenal and PSG. Now, if you only looked at the scoreboard, you'd say this was a perfectly balanced contest. One goal each. Extra time couldn't separate them. Penalties eventually crowned PSG champions of Europe. Case closed. Or is it? Because the football jury doesn't just ask who won, it asks, what kind of football was actually played? And when we examine the evidence, a very different story begins to emerge. Let's start with the attacking output evidence. The scoreboard records a stalemate, but that's where the similarities end. With 4 shots on target, PSG asked the Arsenal goalkeeper better questions. Arsenal, meanwhile, spent most of the evening struggling to test PSG consistently. Now, this wasn't a complete attacking demolition. PSG didn't overwhelm Arsenal, but they were the side trying to ask questions. Arsenal were mostly providing the answers. The jury's first observation: PSG looked more likely to find the winning goal long before penalties arrived. Now we move from shots to chance quality. And this is where Arsenal's defense lawyer starts to sweat. Because while the score remained level, the underlying evidence was not. PSG generated the better chances. Not by a huge margin. Not enough to completely suffocate Arsenal, but enough to establish clear superiority. At the same time, PSG largely restricted Arsenal from creating dangerous opportunities of their own. Think of it this way. If the attacking output evidence showed PSG knocking on the door, the XG evidence shows they were knocking on the right door, the dangerous door, the chances that actually worry defenders. Arsenal survived, but survival isn't the same thing as control. Now let's talk about how these attacks were created, because PSG's attacking profile is actually fascinating. Their movement into dangerous areas was excellent. The ball progression was clean. The passing quality was strong. And their attacks consistently reached threatening positions. This wasn't chaotic football. This was football performed with a blueprint. But there was one thing missing: a little sauce. The dribbling success wasn't elite. The shooting accuracy wasn't elite. The meal was cooked beautifully. It just wasn't heavily seasoned. The jury's verdict? Surgical attacks. Precise. Clinical. But not particularly flashy. Arsenal, meanwhile, produced the opposite profile. The passing into dangerous areas lacked consistency. The progression often broke down. The attack rarely developed rhythm. And when individual moments were needed, the execution wasn't there. Their attacks felt improvised rather than engineered. The jury's verdict? Chaotic attacks. Lots of effort, very little structure. Now for perhaps the most revealing evidence of all. Who controlled where this match was played? The answer is PSG. The evidence shows a team that repeatedly pushed Arsenal backwards. A team that maintained territorial pressure. A team that used possession with purpose rather than simply collecting passes. Now, PSG weren't completely dominant. This wasn't peak Guardiola. This wasn't 2011 Barcelona. Their possession wasn't quite purposeful enough to enter the highest category. But it was progressive. It moved the game forward. Arsenal's possession did not. For long stretches, Arsenal looked like a team trying to escape pressure rather than impose it. The battle line spent most of the evening moving towards the Arsenal goal, not the PSG goal. So after reviewing all the evidence, the football jury delivers its final verdict. Starting with Arsenal, the charge is dire straits. This is football's version of a defendant spending the entire trial responding to accusations without presenting much of a case of their own. They survived. They resisted. They fought. But they never truly controlled the narrative. Now PSG, champions of Europe. But the jury is not here to hand out medals. The jury is here to evaluate football, and PSG's charge is mid-table mediocrity. That sounds harsh, but hear the reasoning. They controlled territory, created better chances, played the more coherent football. But this was a team that controlled the game without completely conquering it. Good, clearly better, but not elite, not peak football, not effective and clean, just enough. But according to the evidence, the gap between the two sides was bigger than the scoreline suggests. The question is mid-table mediocrity unfair on a team that just won the Champions League? Or does needing penalties after controlling most of the evidence prove the jury got it right? An appeal of the verdict can be entertained. But for now, court adjourned.